So hi guys, I am back again in another video. So for today's video, we're going to tackle about the different types of mental health disorders and their cause and effects. What is an anxiety disorder? An anxiety disorder is a type of mental health condition. It is normal to have some anxiety. You may feel anxious or nervous if you have to tackle a problem at work, go to an interview, take a rest, or make any important decision. And anxiety can even be beneficial. For example, anxiety helps us notice dangerous situations and focuses our attention, so we stay safe. But anxiety disorder goes beyond the regular nervousness and slight fear you may feel from time to time. An anxiety disorder happens when anxiety interferes with your ability to function. You often overreact when something triggers your emotion. You can control your responses to situation. Anxiety disorder can make it difficult to get through the day, but fortunately, there are several effective treatments for anxiety disorder. What are those types of anxiety disorders? This includes the general anxiety disorder or the GAD, panic disorder, phobias, separation anxiety. Generalized anxiety disorder or the GAD. Here, you may feel extreme and unrealistic worry and tension, even if there's nothing to trigger these feelings. Most days, you may worry a lot about various topics, including health, work, schools, and relationships. You may feel that the worry continues from one thing to another. Panic disorder. If you have a panic disorder, you get intense, sudden panic attacks. These attacks often feature stronger, more intense feelings than other types of anxiety disorders. Dito, you might feel of terror that may start suddenly and unexpectedly, or they may come from a trigger like facing a situation you dread. Panic attacks can resemble heart attacks. Phobias. A specific phobia or a simple phobia is an intense fear of particular object or situation. It may cause you to avoid everyday situations. Some specific phobias includes fear of animals, blood, flying, heights, and injections. What is separation anxiety disorder? This condition mostly happens sa mga bata or sa teens, who may worry about being away from their parents. Children with separation anxiety disorder may fear that their parents will be hurt in some way or not come back as promised. This happens a lot sa mga preschooler, but older children and adults who experience stressful event may have separation anxiety disorder as well. So next is we're going to tackle about depression. Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest, also called major depressive disorder or clinical depression. It affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. Although depression may occur only once during your life, people typically have multiple episodes. During these episodes, symptoms occur most of the day, nearly every day, and may include feelings of sadness, fearfulness, emptiness, hopeless, angry outbursts, irritability or frustration, even ever small matters, loss of interest or pleasure in most of all normal activities such as hobbies or sports, sleep disturbance, including insomnia or sleeping too much, tiredness and lack of energy, or So even small tasks take extra effort, reduce appetite in weight loss, or increase cravings for food and weight gain, anxiety, agitation, or restlessness, slow thinking, speaking or body movements, feeling of worthlessness or guilt, fix, fixating on past failures or self-blame, trouble thinking, concentrating, making decision and remembering things, and etc. and so on, so on. So, yung depression, it is also occurs in children and teens. Common signs and symptoms sa depression ng mga bata or mga teenager. In younger children, symptoms of depression may include sadness, irritability, clinginess, worry, aches, and pains, refusing to go to school, or being underweight. Sa teens naman, symptoms may include sadness, ganun din, irritability, feeling negative and worthless, anger, poor performance or poor attendance at school, feeling understood and extremely sensitive, using recreational drugs or alcohol, eating or sleeping too much, self-harm, loss of interest in normal activities, and avoidance of social interaction. Ugh. In the other hand, depression sa mga older adults, it is not normal part of growing older yung depression sa mga older adults, sa mga adults. It should never be taken lightly. Unfortunately, depression often goes undiagnosed and untreated in older adults, and they may feel reluctant to seek help. Symptoms of depression may be different or less obvious in older adults, such as memory difficulties or personality changes, and etc. Depression causes, it is not known exactly what causes the depression. As with many mental disorder, a variety of factors be involved, such as the biological differences. People with depression appear to have physical changes in their brain. The significance of these changes is still uncertain but may eventually help people brain chemistry, the hormones, changes in the body balance of hormones may be involved causing or triggering the depression. Inherited traits, depression is more common in people whose blood relatives also have this condition. Next is the obsessive compulsive disorder, or the OCD. Is this disorder in which people have recurring unwanted thoughts, ideas, or sensations that make them feel driven to something repeatedly. Some symptoms of having OCD are those cleanliness, people who have a constant fear of contamination, order. Some people are obsessed with symmetry and order. To relieve their anxiety, they can be seen rearranging books, hoarding. People who find it impossible to dispose of anything. They collect old newspapers, clothes, etc. Counting, such people repeatedly count their belongings and other objects used in the daily life. Lastly is the safety. Some people of irrational fears about safety. They are not constantly checking whether the doors and windows are secure, whether the stove has been turned off, and so on. What are the causes of OCD? First is the genetic factors. OCD can sometimes be inherited from the parents. So, pwede siyang manggaling sa mga parents natin, sa magulang. biological, neurological factors, a chemical imbalance of serotonin in the brain. So, life changes, major life changes, such as a new major or such as new job or the birth of a child, trust, mass responsibility on a person. Behavioral factors, people who are extremely organized, neat, meticulous, and those who likes to be in charge from a young age sometimes. And lastly is the personal experiences. A person who has experienced severe traumas is likely to be affected with the OCD. And the last one is the post-traumatic stress disorder or the PTSD. This is a disorder that develops in some people who have experienced a shocking, scary, and dangerous event. It is a natural to feel afraid during and after a traumatic situation. Fear triggers many split-second changes in the body to help defend against danger or to avoid it. PTSD includes intrusive thoughts, nightmares, avoiding reminders of the event, memory loss, negative thoughts about self and the world, self-isolation, feeling distant, anger and irritability, reduced interest in favorite activities, hypervigilance, difficulty concentrating, insomnia, um, and so on and so forth. Yung PTSD is same lang siya ng symptoms with OCD. So, yun. So, yung PTSD is a mental health problem that some people develop after experiencing and witnessing a life-threatening events like combat, a natural disaster, a car accident, or a sexual assault. During this kind of event, you may not have any control over what's happening and you feel very afraid from trauma, military related, COVID related, and other life events related. So that's it for today. And I hope you will stay tuned dahil may part 3 pa po itong advocacy natin about mental health disorders. And for the part 3 naman, the last part of this advocacy is we're going to tackle about the prevention and who to diagnose the mental health disorders. And that's all. Thank you. This is your student nurse, Sophia Palma from Black Tea from Lyceum Northwestern University.